Darren Aronofsky's Genius Exposed, ranking all his movies and career evolution. So this New Yorker has made a total of 8 movies, which I will list in order, and I'll try to rank them as I go. His first movie, Pi, came out when I was 21. I remember this much. It was in black and white. The main character was often playing Go, which is a Chinese board game that's more complex than chess. And at the end, I think he drills a hole in his head. But what was immediately noticeable was how abstract it was. His use of ambiguity was refreshing at the time. This is easily Aronofsky's number 2 best movie out of the 8 movies he's made. Requiem for a Dream came out in 2000. I would have been 23 years old. I remember it being very hard to watch because it's just so miserable, but very cinematic, very stylishly filmed. A very good cautionary tale against using drugs that doesn't glamorize drugs whatsoever. The double dildo scene at the end was particularly disturbing. I always said this is the kind of movie you watch once, but you would never watch it a second time, and it turns out a lot of people have said that exact same thing about it. And this is his 3rd best movie out of 8 movies. After I saw this movie, I thought, okay, wow, this is a director to look at. Like, this guy's going somewhere. The Fountain, 2006. I saw this in the theater when I was 29. Probably his least known movie, starring Hugh Jackman as a guy who's trying to find the fountain of youth, and he plays 3 different versions of himself. I think one in the past, one in the present, one in the future. And it's just extraordinarily stylish and abstract. And after I saw this, I was like, okay, this is one of the best directors alive. This is easily his best movie. The Wrestler, 2008. I would have been 31. I think I saw this on video. I thought it was terrible. Just a terrible movie. It was one of those movies that's made just for Oscar season. It's like a vehicle for the main actor, Mickey Rourke, to win an Oscar, and I think he did. I'm almost positive he did. This movie wasn't abstract at all. It was just a straightforward movie, and it just kind of sucked. It's the kind of movie you don't watch again, and you kind of wish you didn't even watch it once. When I say it's just a vehicle so that the main actor can win an Oscar, this joins groups of movies, such movies as Monster with Charlize Theron. That's a movie nobody will ever watch. It's hard to think of how many movies, all you gotta do is look at all the movies that won Best Actor ever, and that's basically all those, they're all forgettable movies. And this is easily his worst movie. Black Swan came out when I was 33, and I think he tried to say it was like a companion movie to The Wrestler, which I don't really understand. I was excited for this movie because I thought it was a return to form for him, and he would get back into the ambiguity and he would tell a deep story through metaphor. But it wound up being just pretentious, and it meant nothing, and it was predictable. And to make matters worse, Natalie Portman just pouted throughout the whole movie. And it was at this point that I gave up on him, and I realized he was just using ambiguity and abstract styles to be pretentious, not to actually make a point. He didn't really have much to say at all as an artist. So out of all 8 of his movies, from good to bad, this is the 6th in quality. Meaning the 3rd worst. Noah, 2014, starring Black Crow, starring Russell Crowe, who I never even heard of this movie until today. But it's his 5th best movie out of 8. Why do I say that, knowing nothing about it? Well, firstly, it can't be any better than the top 4, and it can't be any worse than the bottom 3. But it also sounds like a pretty cool idea for a movie, and he would probably have an interesting spin on it. I'm a big fan of reviewing movies without watching them. If you know that the director, if you know what they're like and what they do, or what they don't do. Like, I don't need to see a Michael Bay film anymore in order to review it entirely and be exactly on point. Then we got Mother, another I'm wondering if this guy's religious. Another religious movie that's filled with metaphor upon metaphor, and just too much metaphor. I haven't watched it. I've seen a lot of reviews of it. It came out in 2017. I would have been 40. I'm going to say this is his fourth best movie because he wrote it himself and he tried. Much like The Fountain, which was his best movie. It looks like he really tried to do something. He failed, but he tried. And by the way, The Fountain, which is his best movie, I think it was Siskel and Ebert who said he fell short because he aimed so high, but it was admirable that he aimed so high. And finally, The Whale. I only watched this movie because it was Brendan Fraser's return, and who doesn't love Brendan Fraser? It seemed pretentious. I'd already lost all faith in Darren Aronofsky. I did watch it. It was terrible. It was terrible. And the ending was the worst part. It was more metaphorical and analogous, like some of Darrenofsky's better movies, but it was also an obvious Oscar vehicle for the actor, much like The Wrestler. So this is his second worst movie. This is his seventh of the 8 movies. His 7th best or second worst? Or to put it better, his top 3 movies, The Fountain, Pi, and Requiem for a Dream, are all worth watching, and they were good. And then his last 5 movies are all on such a completely different level of inferiority. So quit after his first 3 movies and you'll like him. I would conjecture that The Fountain, which is his best movie, probably did so badly in the theaters that it kind of broke his spirit, and he never put his heart and soul into anything ever again after that. And this happens a lot with directors. After their first, beloved movie tanks, it just breaks them. Tim Burton, I think, is a great example of this, right? He was making such masterpieces, and now he just cranks out garbage that he doesn't even care about whatsoever. So Darren, just do us all a favor and stop making movies, please. Please like me. Please encourage me. Please comment on me. Please subscribe to me. Please notification bell. Thank you.